Hi, my name is Anders Hjelmsjö and I'm going to take this Yamaha Tenere from 1998 one full lap around the Baltic Sea. I am Swedish. I live here on the Swedish east coast in a town called Västervik, hence the charming accent. But it's just a while back that me and my wife came back to Sweden after living abroad for a long time. I was living 14 years in Egypt. I was in Cape Verde and the Philippines and Thailand, and I've been working, me and my wife have been working as diving instructors, scuba diving. Yeah, as you can see, this is a completely different life. Here is a small wreck of a sailing yacht in a dive site called Abu Galawa in the Red Sea in Egypt. And a beautiful school of surgeonfish sweeping over a reef in the south of the Egyptian Red Sea called Al-Ohrob. And a nice oceanic white-tipped Longimanus shark taking a sneak peek. You see a lot of divers in the water. Shark is cruising around. Yeah man, different life. So when we came back to Sweden, we were running a small dive operation here in the Baltics. And even if the Baltic is brilliant diving, can offer wrecks of world class and nice natural dives, still the dive industry is not as lucrative as it is in the tropical holiday destinations. So we need to have other jobs as well to put bread on the table and fuel in the tank. So this is what I do for a living. I'm a lifeguard in a public pool, and it's not open yet, so it looks a little bit strange with all the chairs standing around, but we're going to do a little bit of cleaning before the people come, so that's why it looks like this. I used to work here as well. This is the guest harbor in Västervik. I still do dive jobs here sometimes now and then, when they need to, you know, replace a chain or a mooring or something. I do some dive work, but I used to be in the reception and taking care of guests, and you know, a little bit like camping, but for rich people with boats who think they are not camping, but actually they are just doing the same thing as any trailer park, but they, yeah, you know, keeping up appearances. More expensive vessel, let's say that. Yeah, so here I'll show you around. Pool area. Quite disgusting water in the pool right now, but it's nice in the summer. Speaking of summer, I mean, this is February still, and you say, why are you complaining? It's February, it's not, you know, it's not that bad. Yeah, but if I told you this would be Midsummer Eve, there's no Swede that would raise an eyebrow, because this is what it looks like on Midsummer's Eve. It's like that's how it is in Sweden. Right now the guest harbor is quite empty, but believe it or not, there can be like almost 300 boats in here during peak season. Hard work that is, I can tell you. So it's now the February 27th, and this is what it's like in Sweden. Woolly hat, thick gloves. Yeah, dog seems to be okay with it. I'm not. So yeah, I hate it. So this is where I sit when I do my preparations on the laptop, I'm looking at maps and I'm looking at the sites that I want to go and see, and I'm trying to plan in as many bridges as possible. And also, this is where I build my little models, ship models. Gotta have something to do on long Swedish dark winter nights. Here are a few ones that I have completed already. So, ta-da! Here is the Around on the Bike base camp. We have the bikes in the family, we have the Dark Shadow, and we have, obviously, Blue Betty going on the trip around the Baltic Sea. Crash bars from Heavy Duty, Romania. Wicked. Here is also where we keep the gear, with the kit. We have some tools, we have some Nallebjörn, he's going with us all the way around the sea, and we have some helmet, we have camping gear, we have the camelback, dry bags, luggage solutions. This one, the roof rack, is not coming with us. So yeah, and obviously we also have the map of the route. So the route is as you see here on the map, and day one I will be traveling from the base camp in Västervik through the Swedish inland to a place called Leksand in Dalarna, where I hope to meet up with some mates from the local dive club that I've learned to know through the years. So it's going to be interesting, I think. Day two I'll be traveling further up north to Venice, where I hope to visit a former colleague from the dive center where I worked in Hurghada in Egypt. So I will also pass over a very cool bridge called the Höga Kustenbron, and hopefully swing by the airport fire station in Sundsvall, where I actually did my national service in, I think it was in 1985 or 84 or 85, so it's a long time ago. On day three I will travel from Venice up to Haparanda, which is as far north as you can get on the Baltic Sea, and this is the Swedish-Finnish border, and I will stay there overnight in a campsite, I think. On day four I will carry on south along the Finnish coastline. Supposed to be really pretty over there, and finish in Vasa, where this is supposed to be really cool islands outside Vasa, where also the longest bridge in Finland is located, so obviously I have to ride on that one. Day 5 I will spend cruising through the land of the thousand lakes through Finland. I will end up in Kotka, where I will have an extra day dedicated to a little bit of resting, and more importantly, make sure that I can cross the border to Russia, hopefully painlessly. The next leg will be from Kotka to St. Petersburg, and in St. Petersburg I will spend a few days hanging around, riding around, looking around at sites, just spending some time in and around St. Petersburg. Really looking forward to that. On the 1st of August I'm leaving St. Petersburg and I head towards Tartu in Estonia. The planning through Estonia looks on the map like I don't really care about the country. It's quite the opposite, actually. I'm planning another trip in the future to spend a lot of time in Estonia, and therefore I'm driving through it this time. From here I move on to Riga in Latvia, and further on to Karosta, where I'm hoping to spend a night in this wicked Karosta prison experience place, where I've been reading about it, and I've been looking at pictures. I actually got the tips from one of my co-workers, Johan, in the Simhal. He said if you're going there you have to check out the Karosta prison experience. So I'm thinking of staying a night there in the prison. Should be interesting. Next day I'm carrying on to Kaunas, which will be the last day in Lithuania and Balticum. On the 6th of August I'm planning to cross the border to Poland and get to Elblag, where I will spend an extra day. Again, a little bit of resting, a little bit of looking at sites, but most importantly here is to have a look at these really famous channel boats. That's supposed to be a splendid experience, so I'm looking forward to that. From Elblag I then travel to Darłowo in Poland, hugging the Baltic coastline this time, all the way down to Peenemünde. And Peenemünde is one of the highlights of this trip for me. I want to stay an extra day there. Again, a little bit of resting, but mainly having a look at the rockets in the V2 Rocket Museum. Also important here is to have time to go to see the Otto Lilienthal Museum, the guy who was flying his little airplane way before the Wright brothers did it. So that's interesting. Also the island of Rügen, where the Nazis built this huge holiday resort, which was actually never opened and used. It was just built too late, so it's supposed to be standing there just as a ghost town, which could be interesting. From Peenemünde I'll ride across Germany and Denmark, and I will end up in a small village called Dresslete, where I will visit two of my dear good friends from my time in Egypt, also divers and dive instructors. They are now married and they live in Denmark and in Dresslete, so I'm looking forward to meeting up with them. 12th August. Now this is a cool day. It's when I cross back into Sweden over the bridge Öresundsbron, which goes between Sweden and Denmark, and it's a long bridge and it's really cool. It's built in 2 levels with cars and bikes and on one level and trains on another level. So that's cool. I love bridges and I'm looking forward to that. From there I'm going to Jämjö in Blekinge, where I'm meeting up with some old friends that I haven't seen in years and years and years. I'm really looking forward to seeing them again. And then after that I'm carrying on along the Swedish east coast, back to Västervik and back to the base camp. All in all, this is supposed to be 6,138 kilometers, the planned route anyway, around the Baltic Sea, and it's supposed to take 23 days and be an absolutely brilliant time.